But we're so thrilled to have with us today Sister Johnny Whittington.
Good morning. What a beautiful congregation. My name is Eve, in case you didn't recognize me. I was the first mother, first woman. God, He didn't make me out of the dust like He did Adam. He just pulled me right out of Adam's side. You should have seen Adam's face when he took the first look at me, when God woke him up. See, he was asleep. He wasn't aware of what was going on, just like a man. You know, when God first created Adam, He looked at him and He said, that's good, but I think I can do better. And then He made me. And then when God introduced me and said, Adam, this is your wife. Adam looked at me. He looked me over and he said, whoa, man. Whoa, man. Oh, man. Woman. That's how I got my identity. Men have been looking at women ever since. And they say that men are won by what they see, but women are won by what they hear. So men, you may want to whisper those sweet nothings in your wife's ear and keep her happy. Sometimes, being the first woman, sometimes I ask Adam, because we do love to hear those magic words. So sometimes I have to ask him. He won't say it in a long time, and I say, Adam, do you love me? And he'll say, who else? At least being the first woman, I didn't have to compete with his mother's cooking. Adam, since he was created first, he knew a few things. Well, he thought he knew more than he really did, but I knew I could teach him a thing or two with time. We lived in a beautiful place, a garden, everything was provided. It was wonderful. There were no problems, nothing bad. And then one day I took a walk while Adam was picking the fruit, and I went to that tree. Now, Adam had told me that God said there's a tree we're not supposed to touch. But I was curious. So I went and looked at it, and I thought, it's so gorgeous. And the fruit looked delicious. And I thought, I really just want to taste it. And there was a beautiful creature standing there, and he said, God said you couldn't eat from all the trees, didn't he? And I said, oh no, we can eat from all the trees except this one. And God said, we'll die if we eat from it. And this creature said, oh no, God didn't mean that. You won't die. No, you'll just become smarter. And I thought, now Adam needs that. He said, you know everything. You will know everything. And I thought, but Adam thinks he already does. I was so tempted. And he said, it'll be good. You will be like God. You just become like Him. You'll know good from evil. And I thought, well, I want to be like God. So I took the fruit and I ate it. And nothing happened. And so I ran to Adam and I said, Adam, this is the best fruit in the garden. You've got to take a bite. And he did. He took a bite. And that day our lives changed. Everything changed. Thorns came on the rose bushes. Weeds grew in our garden. The animals turned on us. I had my first baby with so much pain. I suffered so with that baby. I named him Cain, and then I had another son. I named him Abel. The two boys were so different from each other. Cain loved gardening and tilling the ground, but he was aggressive, and he was stubborn, and he was hard-headed, and Abel was tender-hearted, and he was kind, and he went to the field and watched the sheep. He was the shepherd. When God saw that we were naked in the garden, when we hid from him, and he knew that we had sinned, he killed an animal and made us clothes. He covered our nakedness with the skin of the animal, but the blood from the animal had to cover our sin that we had committed. And he said from now on it'll have to be a blood sacrifice to cover man's sin. Well, when it came time to bring the sacrifices, Cain brought something from his garden. He didn't care what God had said. He just brought fruit from the garden. But Abel, obedient Abel, brought a lamb. God accepted his sacrifice, but he didn't accept Cain's because it was not what he required. Cain was so angry. He hated his brother at that moment. He rose up. In the field, he rose up and killed his brother. One of my children killed the other child that I had born. I thought my heart would break. I didn't think I could stand the pain. I thought it hurt when they were born, but oh, it hurt so much more when one brother killed the other. I don't know what I'll do now. Life just some days seems so hopeless. I've given you some sad scenarios here of mothers in the Bible, and I thought, man, this is so depressing. God, are you sure this is what I'm supposed to do? But I felt like it was, because when I think of Joseph and all that he went through and how that he, you know his brothers, you know the story, how his brothers sold him into bondage, and it was years, then he went into prison through no fault of his own, and it was years before he came out. But when he came out victorious. God turned things around for him, and he came out and saved the whole nation. So whatever we go through, God wants to turn it around. And very quickly, let's see how God turned things around for Eve. Though one brother killed the other brother of her sons, God gave her another son. God gave her a man named Seth. And from Seth, God knew that he had to have a pure bloodline all the way. From the beginning of man, he had to keep a bloodline pure. Because, I don't know if I should even get into this, but in Genesis 6 it talks about how the sons of God, which were the angels, and it was the fallen angels that did this, but they went in unto the daughters of men, and they caused them to become mothers. And they bore the giants. And the giants were a demonic race. And that's why God said, kill all of them. When you go into the land of Canaan, kill all of those men, all of those tribes. Kill the children, kill everybody, because of the demon powers that ruled in those nations. So God wanted to keep a bloodline pure. And Seth was the beginning of that pure bloodline that Jesus Christ would come from. Even Joseph, his earthly father, not his father, but the one that would take care of him as the earthly father, he was from the lineage of Seth. So would you say that God turned it around for Eve? God had told her that one day her seed would bruise Satan's head, even though Satan would bruise her seed's heel, and we know how that came about in Jesus.